Right now, on someone's wrist, a company is quietly tracking their heart, their sleep, even their menstrual cycle, and handing pieces of that data to a defense contractor. We'll get to which one. Hit that like button and subscribe, because today we're ranking 7 fitness trackers, Whoop, Oura, Hume, and more, bargain all the way up to top tier. But that's only half the video. The other half is what these companies have actually been caught doing: broken promises, patent wars that are banning products from store shelves, a military deal that's got users seriously spooked. If any of that sounds like your kind of chaos, go ahead and hit like and subscribe before we dive in. It genuinely helps the channel, and you're not going to want to miss where this one ends up. Alright, let's start cheap. $49 gets you the Xiaomi Smart Band 9. No subscription, no catch. It tracks your steps, your heart rate, your sleep, and it does it well enough that reviewers keep putting it at the top of every budget list this year. It's not going to give you deep recovery coaching or anything close to a readiness score, but if you just want to know your resting heart rate and whether you actually slept, and you don't want a single recurring charge on your card, this is it. One step up, the Fitbit Charge 6. Somewhere around $100 to $160 depending on the sale. Real GPS, better sensors, an interface that actually feels complete instead of basic. The catch? Fitbit locks some of the more detailed metrics behind a monthly premium subscription, so you're not fully escaping the pay-to-unlock model, even here. Still, one of the most comfortable, most reliable bands you can strap on without spending real money. Right next to it, the Garmin VivoSmart 6, $130 to $180. If you want an actual screen, real numbers, glanceable stats, no phone required, this is your lane. And Garmin's whole pitch is simple. The insights you paid for stay yours forever. One-time purchase, no monthly tollgate. Now here's where this category gets genuinely interesting, because the next few tiers all answer a totally different question. Do you want a screen at all? Or do you want to forget you're even wearing something? If you want screen-free and subscription-free at the same time, look at Ringcon's Gen 2 ring, around $299, one-time cost, no membership required to see your own sleep and recovery data. Not the most famous name in the smart ring world, but it's become the pick for people who want the ring experience without a bill showing up every month. Just above it, somewhere between $249 and $356 depending on the sale, sits the Hume Band 2.0, the newest name on this list, and it's carved out a completely different lane. Where Whoop tracks how hard you trained and Oura tracks how well you slept, Hume asks one question: is your body actually aging better over time? It tracks something called metabolic capacity, plus biological age trends and blood pressure trends, a feature that would cost you an extra $359 a year through Whoop's top tier instead. Core tracking, zero subscription. Want AI coaching on top? That's optional, $8.99 a month. Genuinely one of the better value stories on this whole list. Though, and we'll circle back to this, it's new enough that some of its numbers haven't been independently checked the way its competitors have. Climb higher, and you hit the Oura Ring Gen 4. $300 to $500 for the ring, plus a subscription on top, $6 a month, or $70 a year just to unlock the full experience. And to be fair, the sleep tracking is genuinely excellent. Reviewers keep calling it the most detailed, most calming health data experience out there. Less hit your step goal, coward, more here's quietly how your body's actually doing. And then right at the top, Whoop. No screen at all, just a band and an app. And instead of buying hardware outright, you're buying a membership. Whoop 1 starts at $199 a year, Whoop Peak runs $239, Whoop MG, the medical grade tier with an FDA cleared ECG and blood pressure insights, runs $359 a year. In Whoop's model, the hardware is basically just what you get for subscribing, built for people who train seriously and want a daily number telling them exactly how hard they're allowed to push. So that's the ladder, $49, zero subscription, all the way up to $359 a year with no hardware cost at all, just an ongoing bill. Sit with that gap for a second. It tells you something real about where this whole industry is heading. Here's the good part first, because it's earned. This category has genuinely changed how people understand their own bodies. Heart rate variability, sleep staging, real recovery science, stuff that used to be locked inside sports science labs and Olympic training centers. Now it's on a $49 band. People have caught undiagnosed heart conditions because a ring or a band flagged something irregular. Athletes have actually prevented injuries because a recovery score told them to back off. That's a real, measurable win for tech that barely existed 20 years ago. But that same shift from buy a device to subscribe to your own health data is exactly where things start getting messy. Take Whoop. In May of 2025, they launched the Whoop 5.0 in the MG. Should have been a clean win, better battery, blood pressure tracking, and actual ECG. Instead, full-blown backlash. See, Whoop had spent years promising members that after 6 months subscribed, your next hardware upgrade was free. That was the entire pitch. Pay the membership, always get the latest device. Then the 5.0 drops, and suddenly existing members are told they'll pay a $49 upgrade fee, $79 for the MG, or extend their subscription a full year to get it. And when people went looking for the blog post where Whoop had promised free upgrades, it had quietly been deleted. The backlash hit fast and loud enough that Whoop reversed course within 2 days, free upgrades for anyone with 12 or more months left, refunds for anyone already charged. But the trust damage was already done. When your entire business model is keep paying us, we'll keep you current, breaking that promise, even briefly, hits different than a normal product complaint. Oura's got its own version playing out right now. There's an active class action moving through federal court in California this year, alleging Oura pulled a bait and switch, that features which used to come free with the Ring quietly got moved behind that monthly paywall after people had already bought the hardware. A separate piece of that same case goes after accuracy. Plaintiffs allege the Ring's blood oxygen sensor can be off by 4 to 6% compared to actual medical devices. That's not a rounding error. That's the gap between a reading that looks fine and one that should have sent you to a doctor. And Hume, for all the value it is offering, is not getting a free pass either. It is newer and independent reviewers who have worn it side by side with Whoop and Oura for months keep flagging the same two things. Proprietary scores, like its biological age metric, that have not been independently validated the way older competitors' numbers have, plus a pattern of slower than expected customer service on refunds. Nothing at lawsuit level yet. But new and unverified is worth knowing before you trust a number like biological age as much as you would trust your actual doctor. And that's the bad. Now here's the ugly, because this is where it stops being about broken promises to customers and starts being about what these companies do to each other and to your data. Oura has spent the last 2 years waging what can only be called a patent war across the entire smart ring category. They have sued Ultrahuman, sued RingCon, sued Circular, filed a case with the U.S. International Trade Commission against Samsung, Reebok, Amazfit, and the maker of the Luna Ring all at once, and they have been winning. Late 2025, the ITC ruled in Oura's favor against Ultrahuman and RingCon, and actually banned Ultrahuman's rings from being imported or sold in the US at all. RingCon settled and now pays Oura royalties just to keep operating here, which, yes, is the same RingCon we recommended earlier in this list. One competitor, the maker of the Luna Ring, agreed to just stay out of the US market entirely rather than fight it. Whoop is doing something similar on its side, currently holding an injunction that is blocking a rival Chinese band called Lexki from selling here while that case plays out. Legally, all fair game, that's literally what patents are for, but zoom out and look at what it actually means for you as a shopper. Some of the cheaper, subscription-free alternatives that used to exist in this category are being erased from the US market, one lawsuit at a time, by the two biggest players. Less competition doesn't usually end with lower prices. And then there's the part that's made a lot of Oura's own customers genuinely uneasy, the thing we teased right at the start of this video. Oura has been expanding hard into military contracts. The US Department of Defense is now, by Oura's own description, its largest enterprise customer. And the company confirmed the privacy and security infrastructure for that side of the business is being handled by Palantir, the data analytics firm best known for its work with US immigration enforcement and defense surveillance. Oura says consumer data and defense data are kept separate. Fine. But think about what this ring is actually collecting on your body every single night. Temperature, heart rate, sleep stages. For a lot of users, their menstrual cycle. And now the company holding all of that has a defense industry pipeline with a surveillance contractor sitting somewhere in the infrastructure. Even if your personal data never crosses over to that side of the business, it's not hard to understand why people wearing this thing to bed every night feel a little different once they actually know that. So here's where that leaves you. The technology has never been better, genuinely useful health insight, available now for as little as $49, zero subscription required. But the business model behind a lot of these companies has shifted hard toward you don't own this, you rent access to your own body's data. And that shift comes with real risk, broken upgrade promises, paywalled features you thought you already paid for, unvalidated scores wearing the confidence of clinical data, and increasingly, real questions about who else has access to information this personal. Before you buy, ask the boring but important question: is this a one-time purchase? Or am I signing up for a bill that shows up every month for as long as I own this thing? Check what happens to your data if the company gets acquired, partners with a defense contractor, or quietly rewrites its terms of service one random Tuesday. And whichever tier you land on, you're buying into one of the fastest growing, most aggressively competitive corners of consumer tech right now. Genuinely useful science, wrapped around a business model that's still figuring out exactly how much it can get away with. If this saved you from buying the wrong one, that's exactly what the like button's for. And subscribe if you want the next one of these before it drops.